Hello, audience. This is an audio test. Can you hear us? So, Sasha, say hello.
Hello, hello. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let us know if engine sound for the ship as well for the Mako is there. Catch you in a minute. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another XGR broadcast. As you'll have heard in chat just a minute ago, we are delaying our broadcast start by about 10 minutes as we still have racers making their way to the track. In the meantime, you're looking at a sunny sunrise here at Daymar. Sit tight, and we will be having some exciting racing coming to you very, very shortly. we eventually will get this race underway and start racing for what will be the first Division Pro race. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Black Maze. I am joined by Osashus. This one is going to be awesome. How are you doing, Osashus?
I'm doing very well. Super excited. This one's obviously been a long time coming. We've had a long journey to this pro race, so excited to get this underway.
It's going to be an exciting one. The sun is creeping up fast. We've got the racers making their way to the racetrack. And I think we should take a look at this beautiful track, Yadar being one of the newest ones. What do you think about Yadar?
Oh, this track is awesome. Folks will know that this one actually wasn't one of our designs, but we were very impressed when we saw this come onto the scene. Very high-speed track, has those Tatooine desert vibes. Very cool track.
It is definitely one of my new favorites. Honestly, I feel like I place it over Snake Pit. I don't know if you feel the same.
I don't know if I'm quite there, but it is an awesome track. It's got this cool combination of these high-speed obstacles and a lot of verticality, even though it's a ground track, mixed with really tight things like Drifter's Paradise and Fresh Air. Right, got some really cool stopping points where you really take this high speed into some really tight corners.
Let's talk favorites. My favorite is definitely Heaven. You go up through the stairway and then down as they do the barrel roll. You'll know what I mean.
Oh, definitely. And it's been interesting to see a lot of these really fast guys handle that section of Heaven and after Heaven a lot differently. Some people will go the corkscrew approach. Some people kind of bobbing back and forth or doing a dolphin approach. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any differences today in these pros that are going to be racing this.
Yeah, that's a great point. We have got a bunch of cameras trackside to bring you the action. We'll try and target the leader as well. And for the audience, we recommend that you keep a close look on the chevron because it gives you kind of an extra clue as to what the racer is doing, where they're rolling, how they maneuver their ship, and it should highlight exactly what Osashus is saying. Now, what about track limits? Because this track has got a few. You can see them in the red colors as well. Anything in particular to talk about in terms of track limits, you think?
Yeah, it's fairly simple on this one, right? There's a lot of cranes and overextending archways, gateways in the back that the racers have to stay under. Apart from that, there is a very clear canyon. So those canyon walls, as far as those the confines, the lateral confines of those canyon walls, the racers have to stay in between while they're making their way from checkpoint to checkpoint.
Right. Now, one of the really cool things about division racing is the fact that we often choose a different ship to make sure that even though every ship, if you throw them together, doesn't really work because there is a big difference between how they handle. And right now, for example, the P-72 is the atmospheric winner in most cases. So we like to pick different ships for these races. And for this race, we've got only the M50. What a beautiful beast, and how cool to have this ship shine at this track.
Yeah, folks might forget too, because it's been a long stint, right, since the 318 dropped and all of that, the shenanigans, right? But M50 got a pretty big change, so it became really fast, especially in atmosphere, but it's still a wild beast to tame. So it's been really cool to see these guys tackle this track with it that's very fast on, but also very hard to handle.
Absolutely. I'm a huge fan of the M50. It's been interesting with how it used to buck so much, and they've done CIG has done a whole bunch of work on making it more stable. I think it's a lot of fun to fly now. Yadar, or rather Daymar, being a relatively light and thin atmosphere, this thing can push hard. So what is the biggest risk with the M50 around this track?
Yeah, some of the biggest risks come in those tight turns that we mentioned before, so like Drifter's Paradise, things like that. This thing does have a little bit of drift. It's nothing like a razor per se, but handling it in those drifts is really tricky because it does catch some atmospheric pressure, right? It does kind of grab in interesting ways. So you'll see a lot of these guys at certain points, especially if they're pushing the speed, they're going to get their nose really close to the inside corners of some of these turns, and that's really riding the edge. So there's some risk there, but a lot of time that could come from it made up.
I thought it was really fun to see early on. And of course, we've had our Division Am race. We've had our Division Pro Am race. There's been so much practice. And when these guys first set out to take the M50 onto Yadar, they were like, what the hell, this thing is too fast, I can't handle it. And people just ended up overshooting the turns because it pushes those mains so hard, and then you end up in those situations you described. So it's really cool to see people sort of tame the M50. It's always felt like a ship that really needed taming and still does, and I think it's in a great place. I look forward to what we'll get with control services in the future, but it's a fun one.
Definitely.
So let's talk about some prizes then. We have some really exciting prizes lined up for this race. Our Division Pro winner walks away with their very own RSI Scorpius Antares with lifetime insurance and of course a game package to round it all out. And I believe we've got something exciting as well for the audience.
Yeah, really quick though, don't forget the Division Pro winner is going to walk away with a custom mousepad from Spectre as well too. So really exciting, they'll be able to do their own design.
Hell
as far
yeah.
as the audience, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Big shout out to Spectre. Spectre, of course, being one of our sponsors that gives away a custom pad to every Division Pro race winner. So kudos to them for supporting what we do, for liking what we do, and yeah, for supporting us.
Heck yeah. And yeah, as far as the audience goes, between main event number 2 and main event number 3, we're going to be giving away an Anvil Arrow package with LTI and a Love Struck paint job. So yeah, just be active in chat, cheer on your favorite racers, and yeah, give you a chance to win a Anvil Arrow package. All right. Pardon me, my machine just did a little hiccup there.
So no worries, we'll let you catch up. Speaking about where to find us, for those that are new, welcome. We are Extreme G Racing, XGR, and we do racing, specifically ship racing, and we do that anywhere in the verse. Right now we are limited to Stanton, and we can't wait to expand that into Pyro and beyond. And if you are interested in racing with XGR, or you want to support us, or just hang out in a racing-oriented community, what you can do is go to our social media pages and our Discord.
Yep, and you can find all of that, starting with go to racexgr.com, right? We've got our social links as well as our stream, YouTube, all that, those kind of links there. And then you can see this here. We've got our Instagram, our Twitter, come follow us on all of our platforms. Like mentioned, we do mainly ship racing. That doesn't mean that ground racing is going to come in the future, but mainly ship racing stuff. But then also as a community, we do things like formation flying, hooning events, other different kinds of events, right? And we'll post highlights of those and all sorts of things. So yeah, come check us out on all our platforms.
Really look forward to that, dude. It's really cool to see how our community is growing so organically. We're just over 2,000 members into Discord now, and what's so cool is that there is such a demand for racing in Star Citizen, and you see the people join in on the community organically. They find us. We've got our racing school. There's people of all different backgrounds and skill levels, and it's just really cool to watch everybody get together, talk about ships and all that jam. That's really cool.
Yeah, I love to see a lot of these guys get really inspired by some of the fast racers and stuff like that, right? You come into, maybe it's your first foray into six-off space simulation and you're diving into Star Citizen and you're just learning, the ropes kind of on keyboard and mouse or something like that. And then to see some of these guys that have really perfected the art of flying spaceships and see what they can do, right? It's been very, very cool to see a lot of these guys inspired and then want to come to racing school and start to learn how to fly their ships that way as well.
All right, well, let's take a look at the starting grid and talk about the Division Pro Am specifically. We've obviously had people earn their Am license, their Pro license, and it's all led to this. We've got 3 main races for you today, each of 10 laps. It's an Olympic scoring system. That means that people that are racing today accumulate points across the 3 races and we'll have a winner. But for our first main race, we've got 6 racers lined up, and that is based on what exactly?
Yeah, so this is based on, like you mentioned before, we came in with a qualifying system leading from an Am race into a Pro-Am race. During that Pro-Am race, these racers qualified by winning that Pro-Am race, getting their Pro license, and also getting a qualifying position. So this is the order in which they won those Pro-Am heat races, with Shaknu being the first to win and Strazik being the last there to win. So this will be the starting grid for this main event 1, and then going into main event 2 and 3, that will follow the order of the finish for the previous main event.
We've got Shacknew in first place then, followed by Splen in second. And what's really interesting is that with this overlay, you can see as well that Shacknew is starting on the right side of the grid, on the outside of the track. Now, do you think this is a benefit? Is it an advantage, a disadvantage? Would you like to start on the outside like that?
I think starting on the outside in this case is a little bit of an advantage, especially with the you can see how it's basically offset here. This will be the same way with the grid. You've got a little bit of breathing room there, right? You don't necessarily have the inside line, but you're going to have a lot of visibility coming in as racers try to pinch that inside line. So if you do get a good jump, you can basically set up the line into Drifter's Paradise. And if you don't necessarily get the jump, you can stay a little bit wider, a little bit safer leading into turn 2.
Right. We've got Boltok in fourth, who is not showing up today. That means we've got one empty slot on the grid. So Strazik with a little bit of clear air in front of him. Now let's talk about these racers a little bit, because we really are looking at some of the literal fastest racers in the verse right now. These guys are putting in the hours. We've got Shacknew and Splen, both time trial masters, putting in a lot of effort. Flip-a-Dip putting in equal amounts of effort and really rising to the occasion as well, and getting some serious world records on ser.gg. For those that don't know, Star Citizen Racing is the website to go to if you're interested in learning about racing, learning about race tracks, and submitting times and watching other people submit times. That's scr.gg, so go check it out. But yeah, Shacknew, Splen, awesome racers. It's no surprise they're here.
Yeah. It would be a miss to say that Shacknew and Splen probably aren't the favorites going in here, but that does not in any way mean that one of those is going to walk away with this win. Flip-a-Dip, like you mentioned, he actually came through and was really surprising to see him earn AM license and pro license in the same series during this series, right? So very much a newer racer to the scene, but ridiculously fast. Sater, a lot of previous XGR racing experience and was really fast. Had to take a little break, but is on some new hardware, so really excited to see what he can do here. And then Strazik as well, a long-term racer who's got a lot of speed and can definitely slug it out with these guys. So we're in for one heck of a race today, for sure.
You know what I think is really cool? Speaking about Sater, I kind of put him in our class where, you know, we're OG and we went on to do other things, specifically host races and commentate. And we got stuck in our game, right? Like, we cannot compete with the likes of Splen and Shacknew because they're putting in the hours. And I put Sater in the same bucket, at least for now. As he's making his way back in, I feel like he's got some catching up to do. And I'm, like you said, very excited to see exactly where that brings him. Strazik, he's up on, you know, he's there. He's ready. He's always been ready. I'm very excited to see if he can give these guys a run for their money.
Yeah, talking about preparation, I've been lurking a little bit, right, and definitely seen some of these guys putting in a lot of practice. I don't know the specifics on some of these guys, how much they put in, so I think we'll see a lot of that come out in the results at the end of today.
Race starts in 60 seconds.
Well, we've got our race start on the way then, and again, we've got 3 mains, and they're all 10 laps, and that's going to be very exciting. I'm so curious to see the gaps develop over time. I look forward to this race.
Definitely.
Well, we've got just a little bit of time to kill still, and then we get to finally. I feel like we've been sitting on this for so long. I'm really excited to watch these guys go at it. We'll be filming the action primarily with party markers for you today. We've got a whole bunch of cameras around the track, so you should really get some exciting angles and showing everything up close. You know, we're inspired to keep building the experience for the audience as well. Give us feedback. We hope you enjoy this one.
Definitely.
We're using a new soundboard. Oh, and they're off already. Let's see this race develop then. Shacknew obviously first to the gates there and under to Drifter's Paradise. And here they come then through Drifter's Paradise and onto Dealer's Choice.
Splen taking over the lead from Shacknew. They're in about turn 2.5. No
Wow.
surprise to see these guys at the front. Sater actually coming up in third right now. These guys are
we've got
ripping. You
Splen in
can
the
just
lead
see
already.
the speed. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
Watch them go up now through the stairway up to heaven. This one is just the most beautiful part ever. Down then through rock bottom. And we've still got Splen in the lead.
Yeah, interesting to see these guys really pushing the pace. Like I said, I've seen some of these guys practicing a lot. Splen and Shacknew being two of those that I know have been putting in a ton of practice. So no surprise to see them so comfortable. Splen looks like he's got the pace though right now, pulling a little bit away, going into lap 2, coming into Drifter's Paradise.
Looks like we've got some serious gaps developing already with Splen still in the lead and with the fastest lap still. The gap between Sater and Strazik at 1.3 seconds. And we do have Boltok Dan going for the DNF. It does look we've got Strazik as well crashing, unfortunately. And I can't believe this. Shacknew in last place. What happened there?
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it. He must have made a mistake for sure. It looked like he was holding toe with Splen there on, in the end of lap 1 into lap 2. But yeah, falling way back at this point.
That's shocking. What a beautiful track, dude. I'm so happy that we're racing here with the sun high up. It's just a spectacular race. Splen holding the lead then with Flip-a-Dip. No surprise in second place, at least. Here comes Splen across the finish to finish his second lap.
Yeah, quick reminder again to everyone, we have 3 main events, right? So this isn't necessarily for all the beans. These guys are scoring points each main event based on their finish. So Splen setting up for a perfect finish on this first one, but this is not necessarily over at the end of this race.
A gap of 1.5 now between Splen and Flip-a-Dip. Looks like Flip-a-Dip is able to maintain a little bit. We'll have to see what that gap does as this race progresses. It is interesting to see, right? Like, these guys are used to pushing it extremely hard, but 10 laps is a long time. We're talking just under 10 minutes. Pushing at those high speeds, managing your boost, the chance of a mistake which is extremely deadly in Star Citizen Racing right now, is just around the corner. They have to pace themselves.
Yeah. Yep. It's a balancing act though too, right? Because we've had this in the past with races where racers specifically talk about how they were pacing themselves and flying a little too defensively, and they actually caused themselves mistakes from it because they run out of their race pace, right? They come into a corner a little bit differently than they're used to, and then it causes issues. So it's a balancing act between keeping that race pace and keeping in that flow, but also not pushing it too far to where you make a mistake. It's really fun to watch these guys try to navigate those waters.
Couldn't agree more. Splen then just going around fresh air now with Flip still in the chase. It looks like the gap is kind of holding. We're looking at about 5 seconds right now between them.
Yeah, really impressed with Flip. I mentioned this before, right? Definitely much newer to the scene. Has just absolutely taking it by storm, getting his pro license so quickly, and then up here running with Splen, basically keeping Splen honest in this first Division Pro race that we've ever held. This is awesome.
It's really cool to see the racer stabilize, and as we keep an eye on the progressing gaps, we'll kind of get an idea of how the rest of this day is going to go as well. You kind of end up learning where are the skill gaps. And it's interesting to see that they definitely are there. Everyone is at a different pace, and it shows in these longer races where the racers just kind of stretch away from each other.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the way to be in a race like this. You're not... Oh, and it looks like we lost somebody. I didn't quite catch who that was. I did hear an explosion. Oh, no, it looks like we lost Flip-a-Dip. Oh, no. Running in second, so solid, but it looks like he hugged a little too tight in that section and caught some of the actual architecture there. That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Again, it's not the end of the game. There's 2 more races to go after this one, and let's just say that Splen makes it through in first place in this race. If he DNFs another race, they're back on equal ground, so anything is possible, and we'll have to see exactly how this all turns out. Very impressed with Splen. I've got to say, I said it beforehand. My money was on Shacknew, but here we've got Splen in second place. In first place, excuse me. I did say I was expecting Splen to have a good chance if he practiced, and it seems to be paying off as Shacknew now in second place crosses the finish line.
Yeah. Full disclosure, he definitely is one that I did watch, and via his actual live stream, everyone definitely check him out. He live streams on Twitch, has an awesome stream, has been putting in a ton of practice.
Oh, going up through heaven. It's just the most spectacular thing I've seen in Star Citizen Racing. We've got Turkin on the camera there, hiding his party markers for you so you get the most spectacular view you can get. And it just really does a good job. It's showing the extreme speeds as these guys make their way up. It's insane. Here comes Splen. Gorgeous job by Splen. He's doing a really good job pacing himself. I wonder if he's taking it a little gentler now, knowing that he's got some breathing, or some gap, some breathing space.
Yeah. Splen, as we know, has kind of an entourage, a crew that helps him out too. I'm sure they're feeding him intel right now as far as watching the stream or seeing what's going on. So he'll definitely be aware that he has a pretty significant lead right now. And as we mentioned before, Shaqnu had that, first position, that good start. He's now sitting in second just based off attrition, right? And just able to keep it together, make his way slowly up. And even though there's a large gap, he's still going to, if he finishes this out, end with a second place finish and a good point score for this first main event.
Absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out to our camera crew. We've got Turkin, we've got Steve, iMonster, we've got Kaylee Star, and we've got Mad Cat, all doing a tremendous job. Of course, yourself and myself as well here. And it's really making this thing look amazing and helping cover the action. This is a first for us with such a big team, and it's just really cool to see how well it's getting together. And if you're a first-time watcher, stay tuned. We've got more awesome stuff coming very soon.
Absolutely.
So we've got Splen on lap 8 now. Shaqnu only just crossing the finish line. The gap between them on the overlay appears to be incorrect. It's obviously not 1.9 seconds. We're looking at 24 seconds between first and second place, as we've got 3 guys running. I'm happy to see Sader still in the game, albeit in third place. He's definitely pacing himself. He mentioned that before. He was going to take it easy, make sure that he could survive, because it is all about longevity. I remind everybody of Diplomat in the Stanton Cup. Yeah, for sure. This is not something that you win on one race going with balls out speed. This is definitely about a battle of attrition lasting through a whole lot of laps on the day, and then trying to come out with a good result in the end. And I'll recall early days of Sader racing with us, he always did seem to have quite a bit of consistency, right? So it's good to see that still remains with his flight style. Absolutely. Loving the action around drifters as well. I keep wanting to say Drifters Paradise. You know why. Yep. Obviously, it's called Drifters Hideout. It's based on the namesake of Drifters Paradise on Snake Pit, just because of the resemblance of kind of the obstacles and the way that you navigate it. But yeah, we like to put lots of quirky little references in our turn names. Well, you do. You're the master of turn names, not me. If ever anybody wants to complain about a turn name, you direct your messages to Osashis at XGR. Arcorp building, what was it again? Arcorp building? Yeah, I'm not sure. It's our clubhouse, dude. Our address. Yeah. What? Something, XGR something, tower, something. Yeah. All right, we got That's where our HR department is located. Splen on the final lap, Dan. Again, this is a race of 10 laps, and man, that gap is growing. Shaqnu still on lap 9. He's just making his way now to the start finish. Here he comes, and there he is around the start finish. The gap then growing, I believe. I think the gap times, ignore the bottom overlay. The gap is 25 seconds between Splen and Shaqnu. You can see them reported on the live timing screen on the left. Again, a big shout out to SCR for making it possible to do these live timings. With Louis as our race director, pushing the buttons, and Steve on the assist. Here comes Splen. He's about to finish his race. Just 2 more turns to go for his first main win. There he goes across the finish line to win the first of 3 mains and earning himself a single point, the best you can do for the Olympic scoring. Good job. Yeah, huge congratulations to Splen. Not surprised to see him come out here and put on a clinic for these guys, and definitely starting out his race day in the right way. What you want with Olympic scoring was 1 point across the finish. What a gap! Wow, I'm surprised. Shaqnu being, I want to say he's my number 1 in terms of like who I would say is the highest skill set. He's had a bit of a hiatus, hasn't he? So he took a small break. Yeah. I think that's what's costing him now, and Splen, being the ever streamer boy he is, getting in a lot of time, I think, and it's paying off for him.
Yeah. And then comes Sater across in third. So great job for Sater on his. This is basically his debut return race after having that break and now being on new hardware. And then just a clarification for everybody that knows, since this is Olympic scoring, all those folks that DNF'd will still finish in basically the position that they DNF'd in. So as far as they finish the race, so we'll end up with Flippadip in fourth, Strazik in fifth, and then of course our missing Boltok will just wasn't able to show up, right? So.
That was a really cool first race. We've got the race results on screen. Let's have a look at the timings. Splen with a fastest lap of 54.7 seconds. Now, here's the deal. We take a look at scr.gg to keep a track of world records, to set time limits, to set lap counts. And before this division racing started, and this one is really important, the world record around this track with the M50 was 57 seconds, 0.4. Lots of practice later, Division M, Division Pro M, and now we're here at the Division Pro race, and we've got Splen putting down a spectacular 54.789. That is one hell of a lap time with the M50.
Just goes to show you how much these guys are pushing the limits in their practice, putting in tons and tons of time. Like, that is straight up, like you mentioned, like just a few mere weeks ago, that would have blown the world record out of the water, and now that's a race pace for Splen. Incredible.
That's it. Yeah, you make a good point. I wonder how much gap there is for him. Like, how much is he pacing himself? How much is there still left in the bottle, so to say? Shaknu is coming 21 divided, so help me do the math here. I think he's 1 second slower per lap, if I'm doing the math right there.
2 seconds, yeah. But yeah.
2 seconds slower per lap, wow.
Yep. And on average. Of course, he had that big mistake, went way back, so I'd be curious to see how many seconds that actually cost him, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Sater then in third, and obviously we see those unfortunate DNFs for Flip and Strazik, and Boltok then, of course, not joining the race today. We'll keep him on the leaderboard to remind you, and he will technically start in the back if, by some miracle he was able to make it today. I think it's time for some racer interviews. We should catch up with these guys and see how they're doing.
Let's do it.
Let's get the race results back on screen if we can, just to remind us. Let's see. We've got Splen here. We've got to do the Discord magic, so bear with us as we take care of this. Hello, Splen. Congratulations. You are live on air. Congratulations on your first Pro Main Division race win.
Thank you very much, Black Maze. I'm happy to be here.
That was one hell of a spectacular race. I want to know, how much did you pace yourself there, and how much were you running hot laps?
I think lap one was at least half of it was full send. Once I got past everybody in Drifter's hideout, it was time to just kind of pace myself a little bit. And once I finally was able to get a glimpse of how far Shaq was behind me, I think he was like 5K behind me at some point. The final lap, I pretty much just grand mod,
Did you have any close calls out there that we may not have caught on stream, just out of curiosity?
No, that was pretty smooth for me. It was a good showing on my part. I'm proud of the way I handled that. Hopefully it stays that way, but you know how brutal this track can be. Really that first pass where everyone's in Drifter's hideout is like absolute hell. But after that, we get a little bit of distance. It's not so bad.
Right on.
Well, congratulations, and we'll let you get your head down for Main 2 in just a second.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm surprised to an extent. I should have asked him if he had people feeding him information, but
yeah.
Starting grid is all set.
Let's check in. Is this Roger that. Thank you. That was Louis with some information. Let's check in with Shaqnu. Shaqnu, you are live. Congratulations on a second place. I'm sure you will have obviously been aiming for first place. You probably came in with a little bit less practice than Splen. Do you think that impacted your result in Main 1?
I don't know if it was the practice per se. I think it was just lack of confidence on my end. But once I overcame that, I think around lap 3, it was pretty much smooth sailing for me.
Give us a quick run through what happened to you there on, was it lap 1? We saw you drop back really quick. I don't know if you collided with something or what went down.
Yeah, so actually it started way back in heaven. I came off at a bad angle, had to use some boost, and that kind of made a cascade effect with my boost timings. I'm used to having boost right before the reckoning, but I didn't have any. And so that chicane right before the start finish line was like super wide, and I saw my TVI like going right for the tower, and I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna reset myself. Just took it easy.
Gotcha. Well,
All
great
right,
job
dude.
anyways. A second is, in a racing like this, a second can be as good as a first. And when it comes to a first main event finish, you're still sitting really great on the points.
Oh gosh, for sure. I'm just happy I survived 10 laps. This track is brutal, especially on the M50.
All right, Shaq, we'll let you get your head down. Good luck for main 2.
Thank you.
Finally, let's welcome Sader back to the races. Sader, welcome back to Star Citizen Racing. Sader's got his mic muted, so he might actually not be... oh, there he is.
Yeah, what's up?
Welcome back to Star Citizen Racing.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
We're so happy to have you. You obviously made a return a couple of weeks ago. I want to say you've been at it. And how does it feel chasing these guys?
It feels like I shouldn't be chasing them. I should probably get in front of them, right?
Hell yeah.
Just kind of focus on just, doing my race and, surviving for the first one. There's 2 races left. It's a point system, right? So surviving is where it's at.
Yep, definitely.
All right, man. We'll let you get your head down. Good luck for main 2 and give him hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Just cutting him off there. Apologies. All right. We're just going to wait for main 2 to get underway. We can take a look then at the starting grid. It's the same as the race results, but let's pull them up anyway and just take a look. We've got Splendan still in first place on the right. Or actually, excuse me. Positions have swapped, right? Shaqnu was in first place
Correct,
on the first one and now starts in second. So it'll be interesting to see if Splend can keep the lead in lap 1. Obviously, Shaq lost it last time. We've got Sader in third, Flip in fourth. I must admit, I'm really rooting for Flip, coming through the ranks so quickly. I hope he can get a nice score in.
Yeah, you know how it is, right? As you work up the ranks of these races, the pressure just increases, and some of this you just have to get experience in, right? So I'm sure he's feeling the pressure a lot. You can see a seasoned veteran like Shaqnu, right? Definitely feeling the pressure and talking about how it took him till about lap 3 or 4 to really get comfortable. So I think some of these guys you'll see loosen up a little bit, maybe find a little more flow as we get into main event 2 and main event 3.
Absolutely.
60 seconds till race start.
These guys are starting to look beat up already. So talk to me about Strazik. Where do you see him? And just talk to me about Strazik.
Strazik's got a lot of speed, and we've seen it a lot, but we've also seen some inconsistency from him in past races, and it's been a little bit hit or miss. So I'm not surprised to see him up here. He can absolutely slug it out with these guys and run similar paces. But again, just like what we talked about, I wouldn't be surprised to hear from him if he's feeling a lot of nerves here as well and might get a little more warmed up. But yeah, it'll be curious to watch and see if he can keep it clean. Both Strazik and Flip, see if they can maybe make it 10 laps this coming race without any mistakes and at least get a finish on the board.
One thing I don't know is actually like who really likes the M50 of these guys and who is actually, rather racing something else. There's obviously like really different ships, as you know. We've got the M50, which is, very aerodynamically resistant. We've got the Razor that drifts a lot more, and different racers like different ships.
100%, yeah, and different flight styles just gel with different ships, right? So it's interesting to see who can gel with what and who can do that quicker. Some of these guys are more flexible. I'm not as flexible. Like for example, right? There's lots of people that like that driftier style more than the hard cutting style and have a harder time getting used to it.
We're hoping to get the race countdown on broadcast for you in the future as well. The racers obviously have that countdown I was talking about earlier, which is done via Discord soundboard with the variable timers, which makes it extremely competitive. They are missing from the broadcast for now, so we will wait for the racers to set off and try to get that to you next time. Well, look at that. And they're off. Splend with a late start.
Yeah, interesting to see. It just maybe got a little caught off guard, but yeah, we got Shacknu in the lead early here, but Splend taking really tight around Drifters. Oh, a little bit too wide. Shacknu overtaking the lead. Satyr slugging it out with him right there. They get really, really, really close.
Is that
Splend
Shack in
looks
the
like
lead?
he's coming back with a vengeance. That is Shack in the lead right now. Satyr tucking inside. We'll see who comes out of here first. Still Shacknu, it looks like. Splend in second, Satyr in third.
All right, let's watch them get up to through the stairway and up. Looking beautiful with the roll. They are neck and neck going down through rock bottom, through the slalom, and up to split decision, where we've got Steve waiting for their arrival. Shacknu still in the lead with Splend in second place, and the rest catching up. This section hurts.
Really interesting. Yep, really interesting to see how that all stemmed from Splend going really, really hot into Drifter's hideout. Like, lost him a bunch of time, but we're seeing right now Splend is just right on Shacknu's tail. So this race is heating up.
They are so
Here they
close
go in.
together.
Splend overtakes him. These guys are neck and neck going through this section.
This is the closest racing you will get in Star Citizen. It doesn't get more exciting than this as they make their way around fresh air and on their way through the gate, up the stairway, and over and through heaven. It really doesn't get closer than this. Who uses their boost better? Who times their boosts around which section? We know they like to use a lot of boost through rock bottom and then starve themselves going through this section where they let the boost recharge, and they are coming through it now and across the finish. We've got Splend then overtaking Shacknu in the lead, but who used more boost? Let's see how this develops as they make their way through Drifter's hideout. There I go.
There you go. Yeah, Splend coming in here. Shacknu keeping it, well, trying to keep it tighter, but actually ended up going a little bit wide. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Shack can keep the pace. I want everybody to pay attention as we move here closer to heaven. That initial drop, Splend is taking that insanely aggressively. You'll see he does basically a tail end slide and dives really, really hard at the peak. So we'll see if he does it again this lap. Yeah, there he goes. It's just a beautiful maneuver. Braking? Yes, correct. Very, very, very hard aerodynamic braking, and you can see that it's extremely fast.
We've got Shacknu working hard to keep up, but we do see that same natural pace coming back now as Splend makes his way around the start-finish again. We'll wait for Shacknu to catch up. There he is, over start-finish as well. So the gap is building, and I think we've got our race leader here.
Yeah, yep. I'm sure Splend is still probably pushing it a little bit. It seems like he's running a really, really fast pace right now. Shacknu's keeping him honest, but yeah, from what we can see here, it looks like Splend might just have the edge. We'll see if he can keep it together and avoid making any mistakes.
5.9 seconds, Shacknu is behind Splend as they are running through lap 4. 8 seconds behind Shacknu, we've got Flippadip, followed by Satyr and Strazek. Still everybody in the race. That's really good to see. Looks like everybody is warmed up, and yeah, all the points are still up for grabs as Splend makes his way through the final section of the track and through start-finish once more and sprinting his way to Drifter's hideout.
Yeah, you'll notice if you're keeping a close eye on Splend through Drifter's hideout, he is never facing where he's actually the direction of his ship, right? He's got that nose tucked inside, really, really drifting it around, keeping that nose really, really tight to that inside. And that's the way to navigate that corner as quick as possible, but it's also a very high-risk strategy at navigating Drifter's hideout.
I really like fresh air. It's such a big-ass gate. It's really not a concern of hitting it. but it gives you that freedom to drift around it whichever way you want. And a really interesting strategy. We should keep an eye on Splen as well as he makes his way around next time. Talking about Flipidip, who I think was the first one I noticed apply the following strategy. He will turn left but pull up, using the gravity to his advantage in combination with the atmospheric resistance. Because when you pull up, gravity is pulling on you as well. And then as you exit fresh air, you get the gravity assist. Now, you talk about that all the time.
Yeah, we talk about this often, right? And it's a big eye-opener to new people to the scene a lot of time when we talk about gravity-assisted braking and gravity-assisted acceleration.
Watch it.
So like you mentioned, come into a corner, go up high, right? You're using gravity to help you brake, and then you're using gravity to help you accelerate out of the corner. And actually, you're making up multiple milliseconds of time utilizing that strategy.
I don't really see I don't really see Splen doing it there. He seems to be pretty pancakey when he goes through that, drifting like a razor.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it's calculations, right, too, because you think about you're going to increase your distance covered during those obstacles, but you're also going to increase your potential, as the speed you can come in with and actually get braking done, and the speed that you can accelerate out with. So it's all a balancing act between distance covered and speed gain.
Very interesting. I felt like pancaking is nicer because you kind of cut the air with as little aero resistance as possible. But then you hear these guys actually using the wobble to their advantage, and I'm like, okay, hang on. That requires a lot of practice, because they take that M50 instability and use it to get their ship to buck into the direction they want. That's next level.
Oh, and we've actually missed something here. Flipidip has actually overtaken Shaq so I'm not sure if that was a mistake by Shaq or just a little more pace by Flipidip. But yeah, Flipidip in second at this point, Shaq bringing up third.
Kudos
to
Flip.
Satyr in fourth and Strazik in fifth.
Can I just say, students surpassing the master.
Yep. Flipidip obviously being having received a lot of training from Shaq so now he's surpassed him in this race. Really, really cool to see.
Yeah, kudos. Really love that. Flipidip has been around for a longer time than maybe we give him credit for. So just to obviously rectify that for him, he has raced with us a lot. Last year, he just barely missed out on reaching pro, which means he missed out on a 2952 veteran badge. If you had a veteran badge, it meant that you could go straight into the pro-ams, but Flip had to start all over again. He started with the student license, and then in the single division series, this one, of course, he got his AM license, his pro-am license, and here he is, proving that he belongs with the pros, overtaking Shaqnu, our Extreme G racing instructor.
Yeah, we're obviously, showing a lot of fondness for him, but it's totally deserved. Since the very beginning of his first racing school attendance, he really impressed Shaqnu and was mentioned to us and everything like that, and he's just been impressing us the entire way. So can't give him enough kudos.
Hell yeah, agree, 100%.
And here comes Splen on lap 9 now.
Can I just call out real quick?
Sure.
Splen going through Drifter's hideouts, he really tucks it into that tight apex. That's something that's really special. It's kind of, I almost want to say that those, let's stay immersive and in lore. The people that designed this track, they really left it open, which allowed Splen to go that tight. And one would question, wouldn't it be a more awesome turn if you had to turn lower around those rocks, keeping it a canyon racetrack? Sorry. Going on a tangent, as always.
Oh, I get you. You can't blame these guys for squeezing out every smidgen that they can, right, of time on this track, and we know these guys are going to do that. Whatever the limitations of a track are, they are going to push it to those absolute limits.
That is so true. So we've got Splen on his final lap, and Flipidip now entering that same lap. Just a little bit left for Splen, and I'm curious to see what his hot lap or his fastest lap time will be in this one. He's still sitting on that fastest lap even in this race.
Yeah, very impressed with Splen. We haven't seen, like we even mentioned, if he even felt like he had any close calls in main event 1. That was the answer, was a no, and then I have yet to see any close calls from it. It's just been rock solid flow and smooth racing.
Absolutely. 2 more turns. Here he comes. He's so fast, dude. Making it look ever easy, pitching up and finishing that race. What a performance. We'll check out his race scores very soon. We're watching Flip Dan making the final turns and getting his M50 neatly across the finish line.
And there's Shaq New in third. Great racing, guys. Big congratulations to our podium there. And we've still got Sater and Strazik circulating the track. Strazik's actually not that far back on Sater, so if Sater wants to secure this fourth, he's going to have to keep it clean. Apart from a big mistake, it looks like he's going to do just that.
Strazik definitely keeping up with Sater. That's nice to see. They are finishing within, I want to say, 2/10. Not a lot.
Yeah,
It's a great performance by these guys. Wonderful. Great job by everyone. And man, this track is just really proving itself to be incredibly spectacular. What a track.
Definitely. There's a reason we came here for the first Division Pro Racing Series, because we were just that impressed with this track.
Oh, yeah.
When it dropped. So much fun. So picturesque.
No chance we were going to do anything else, right? 54.249 for Splen. Now, you'll have to remind me. I don't remember his previous lap record, but that is... I know it was 54 something. It
was 54 something, yeah.
What a race. We've got Splendid finishing in first place, Flippadip in second, Shaqnu in third, Sater in fourth, and finally Strazik in fifth place.
And concerning that fastest lap, I will give a quick tease, right? These guys drop time trials very often, and right before this race started, both Splen and Shaqnu dropped time trial videos of lap times they had in this. And if I'm remembering correctly, Splen's one that he dropped was actually in the 52-second range. So the speed that he's been pushing around here is incredibly fast.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. I want to thank you, Spare, in chat. We've got 54.789 for Splen's fastest lap in main 1, and then 54.249 for the fastest lap in main 2. And we've got one main to go. I think we're ready to have a look at the running scores. This is where it gets interesting with the sum. Let's take a look. We've got a refresh on the way. So we've got Splen in first place with 2 points. Now, do you want to explain again how the point system works, just to clarify?
Yep. So Olympic scoring, basically whatever you finish, that's how many points you scored. You finish first, you get 1 point, second, 2 points, etc. You want to have the lowest score at the end of 3 main events. So right now we've got Splen with 2 points, with finishing first in both of these main events. So Splen on 2 in first, Shaqnu on 5 in second, Flippadip on 6 in third. So that battle for second place is going to be really tight going into main event 3. That's really, really exciting. Obviously, Strazik's a little bit out of this, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't overtake maybe Sater if he got a good finish in this main event 3.
I mean, even Flip can still win.
Yeah, for sure. If Splen DNFs this out, right, and comes in 5th place, he'll be sitting on 7 points, and anything can happen. Anything can happen there. Basically, Flippadip could technically win this thing, if he wins first and Splen DNFs out. So it's anything but over.
There is something really special about this format, because we obviously, like you and I, we come up with all this together, the whole format, and we look at different ways of doing it. I come with the Formula 1 background, very big, long race. You come with the motocross background. You've got the separate mains. And there's something very special about that with Star Citizen Racing, where it can be very punishing to blow up. And so being able to split, let's call this a 30-lap race. Splitting that into 3 gives you an opportunity to come back, like almost like a pit stop. I really like how that format works and comes together.
Yeah, we've seen over time too, a lot of guys really fast in the time trials, but maybe aren't as consistent racing. And things like this really push that wanting to be consistent over time, wanting to learn to be consistent and run a race pace and keep it together. And this kind of thing leans into that too on the other side, right? Not only do you need to not just be really fast for one single race and keep it together, you need to do it for 3 races and show that consistency and that speed repeatedly.
Let's check in with the winner of the race. We'll keep it short so they can keep their head in the game. And I believe after that, we're just about ready to give away our audience prize, so sit tight.
We sure are.
Let's see if Splend's available. Splend, we'll keep this very short so you can keep your head in the game. Congratulations on another win. What's your strategy going into main 3?
Well, I realize I have a leaderboard advantage, so second place doesn't sound so bad. That's still a W at the end of the day. I'm gonna definitely be a little more conservative, but at the same time, you should know this. A lot of racers know this. If you mess up your pacing too much, it usually does more harm than good. So I still got to stay in the game.
That's a great point.
Stuff, man. Well, good luck going into main event 3. Keep a level head just like you have, and you've been doing awesome. Love seeing the flow.
Thanks, guys. I'm happy to put on a good show. That was a nice, exciting one. Hopefully you'll get one for round 3.
Heck yeah.
Shagnu, we'll keep it short so you can keep your head in the game. We've got you in 3rd place. It's not over yet. What's your strategy going into main 3? Shagnu, are you with us? Can you hear us? There's no sound coming from Shagnu. Well, we'll just toss him back. No sweat. We'll tune in with with Flippadip real quick, who came in 2nd, of course. Remind us, Marble, of his position on the running scores.
He's in 3rd right now on the running scores.
He's 3rd, right? That's right. Hey, Flippadip, you're live on air with us. It's not over yet. As we go into main 3, we'll keep it short so you can keep your head in the game. What's your strategy going into main 3?
Just survive the first couple of turns. It's always very dangerous. People are passing each other left and right. Lots of different speed variations. And then I got to go to work and get ahead of Splen.
Yep.
That's a spirit, dude. Good luck.
Thanks.
We'll try Shagnu one more time. Shagnu, can you hear us?
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, man. You're running 2nd for the overall. What's your strategy going into main 3?
Survive. Survive 10 laps.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't want to go too conservative, though. If I go too slow than what I'm used to, it's going to mess me up.
I want to see you pass your student.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's doing great. Yeah, he's doing the time trial going from student to pro. Hopefully, if I don't win it, I'd love to see him win. That'd be great.
Awesome stuff, man. Spoken like a real a good teacher, just like we know you are.
Thanks. Oh, and Steve's been killing it, man. Shout out to him for the XGR Racing School.
100%. Yeah.
That's right. Shout out to Steve. Steve obviously stepping up as our 2nd race instructor, focusing on beginner classes. So let me take that opportunity to invite you once more to come and join us at XGR. You can join us on the Discord. We've got a website, racexgr.com. You can go there, find a link, or you can go straight to /Discord and just join us. We've got beginner classes hosted by Steve, and we welcome you to join. Now, if I can give it over to you, if we're ready. Do we have a winner?
We are ready. We do have a winner, randomly picked from those watching on Twitch. So, Pesky Ren, congratulations. We'll post this in chat as well here. Yeah. Congratulations on winning an Anvil Arrow with Lovestruck Paint Job and LTI. And
nice.
Please PM Black Maze in either a Twitch chat and Discord if you can.
No,
we'll get that out to you.
Yeah, let's do it via the Extreme G Racing Discord or Twitch, right? Let's get the on Twitch going. So we need a DM. Can you DM them?
Yeah, yep, I will do that.
All right, so Pesky Rank, congratulations. Osashi's will DM you and we'll get you sorted. And to remind you, you win the fanciest Anvil Arrow. It's got the Lovestruck paint. It is beautiful, and I'm only a little bit envious. Let's take a look at the lineup for race or main number 3. We've got Splendid again starting in 1st place on the right, and he seems to like it. We've got Flip then making his way up and starting in 2nd place. We've got Shaqnu in third, followed by Sater, and then Strazik closing up the rear. I say this all the time, and I want to know how you feel, Osashas, but there's something very special about these races where we see a limited number of races going at it together, especially when they're pros.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, very special. And yeah, I'm a little lost for words with this, because seeing this this time around, I don't know, the pace just seems incredible today. We've obviously seen the AM race and the Pro Am race, and these guys were ripping fast, but today it just seems like these guys have amped up the level. In these weeks leading up to this pro race, these guys have really been put into the practice, you can tell. And this pace is blowing my socks off right now.
It's true. I agree, but I just feel incredibly proud and excited about this Division Series format, because it is giving every racer a place to race at their competitive level. If you're a student, you race with other students. You race with other amateurs. If you're ready for the pros,
till race start.
If you're ready for the pros, you mingle with the pros as an amateur in Pro-Am. And if you're a pro, you're banned from those student races because you don't belong there. You don't want to compete with those. You want to give the students a place. And instead, again, you're qualifying in a Pro-Am to fight the pros in the pro. And I just love that there is a place for everybody, and it appears to be working. It's a recipe that's working, and today is the result of that.
Yeah, we've mentioned this a bunch of times. Our goal is to just grow the racing scene and lower the barriers to entry, and that's part of this process, is having stepping stones for people coming in, learning the ropes, learning how to fly their ships properly, start racing, start going fast, and work their way up the ladder and be up here slugging out with the likes of Splen and Flipidip and Shaqnu.
We've got a rogue party marker. Please ignore that. Second Saber. That's obviously not Sater. Don't know what's going on there. We've got this race just about to go underway. Splen in the lead with Flipidip in second. We'll see how they slug it out. And they're off. Shaqnu with an incredible launch, taking the lead off of the start-finish. That was a really impressive start by him as they're making their way through Drifter's Paradise. What's happening with Splen?
Splen coming outside here, actually already overtaking. That was really impressive, the pace he took through there, going on the outside of that corner. I had not seen that yet today.
That is insane. I can't believe it's Shaqnu taking the lead from third and then getting booted back to third as Splen takes over the lead again. But we've got Sater now, I think, running in second place.
Yeah, Sater looking feisty here in main event 3. Maybe he's gotten a little more warmed up after these first 2 races. So we'll see what his pace is. Oh no, and Sater looked like he clipped something. Maybe it was just network, but definitely spinning out. Yeah, it looks like he definitely clipped something there at heaven, at the top of heaven.
Yeah, he's out. I think he might be recovering as we're watching Splen make the final 2 turns through the Reckoning and on to start finish again in second place. Really the star showrunner of today's race. What a gap already.
Crazy to see the speed and consistency from this guy. I expected a lot. I didn't expect this much. This is crazy.
We've got Strazik then running in second place now. I think a whole lot went down. We've got Shaqnu in third, Sater in fourth, and I'm missing Flip. No, Flip is out. Flip is gone.
Oh no, we must have missed a DNF from Flip early. That is really unfortunate and going to shake up the overall scores for sure.
Yeah, this really does put Shaq still in the running. I don't know how good you are with math, but what are we looking at right now? Splen obviously with the win.
Yeah, we're looking at,
Sorry,
I'll have to wrap my head around this for a second. No worries. We'll wrap our heads around this here in just a second. But yeah, Shaq in definitely a good position to maybe bring home second.
I do this all the time, and you'll have to forgive me. These Olympic scoring systems are so cool, but it's always like a bit of a guesswork. Like, okay, what's the live standing as we wrap up as this happens? I love that about it, though. Splen through Drifter's Paradise, on to Dealer's Choice now, and getting ready for a little bit of fresh air, making his way around the hairpin on the backside of the track.
Yeah, Shaqnu would be sitting on 7 points, which both Flipidip and Sater would be higher than that, right? So right now, Shaqnu, even in third, is in a position to take the second overall.
Who? Sorry?
Shaqnu.
Wow.
With
awesome.
Flipidip going out, yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was a little distracted then watching Splen go through heaven again. Turkin doing a great job tracking the racers as they make their way through, and it is just my absolute Star Citizen, my favorite Star Citizen moment. There's nothing better than watching them go through the gate and pulling up so tightly and through the heaven. It's just so spectacular.
Yeah, I'll definitely encourage those that haven't checked out any of Splen's time trial record videos from this track. Definitely do that. You can see how a complete pro navigates this track in an M50, and it is insane, some of the corners, the way he navigates these.
I'm impressed by Strazik. There is a significant gap of like 6 kilometers already, but he's I think he stepped up his game. I think he's running a little bit hotter now than he has been, and it's showing. I don't want to say he's keeping up, but yeah, we've got Splen with a big lead here now. He just has to keep it up, bring it home.
Yeah, a lot of this comes down to, and in racing and a lot of sorts of sports, people will talk about how those first few laps can kind of set a tone. You fall into a kind of a speed and a flow, and depending on how those kind of first few laps go, sometimes you can fall into a slower flow than you want, and it's really hard to break that. Sometimes you can fall into the pace of somebody you're chasing, right, and not necessarily push to your own abilities. Yeah. So very cool to see him, a little farther up the lines this time and pushing it a little bit harder.
I like that about these races, that when you go too slow, you mess up your own like sort of rehearsal, the motions, the speeds, the timings you've practiced, and everything goes to crap. It's really cool then to see Flip kind of finding the balance between the two. Just want to thank CIG again as well for allowing us to give away these ships. We've got that Scorpius Antares for the winner. And we've got the Arrow for the audience today that we gave away, and as always, really appreciate their support. Very early on, they saw what we were doing, all of us, the whole racing community, the whole racing scene, and they were on board. They love it. We've got so many things now that we didn't have a few months ago. All these racetracks, things coming with Arena Commander. This is for us and for many people, it's the best moment in time to be a part of this scene. It's so emergent.
Yeah, it's such a dream come true to have such incredible support from the developers of this game, and we'll take everything we can, just like we had from the beginning, and run with it and show that support back towards them, because this is just an awesome partnership. So much love they've shown towards us, and we obviously, it allows us to have these awesome moments and give it the chance to show these racers in their finest light, be able to show everybody what they can do, which is run incredible pace like Splen is doing right now.
Pesky with a really good observation. Shaknu took the fastest lap there, and even now as Splen comes across, Shaknu maintains the fastest lap. He's either done something amazing or Louis pressed early.
Yeah, that's one thing we'll state. For some of our timing and scoring tools, huge shout out again to Diplomat and SCR.GG. We're utilizing his tools. They're incredible. But what we're having to work with requires a lot of manual entry and stuff right now, just based on how Star Citizen works. So there's definitely some room for input error and things like that. So we'll just do our best with what we have.
Yeah, so just to put the spotlight on Luigi, our race director, every time that one of our racers crosses the finish line, he's playing whack-a-mole. He has to press a button for that racer, and that updates the leaderboards. And so based on his presses, you get the timings, the gaps, the laps, and everything. And it's a really special collaboration and come together between SCR and race director.
100%, yeah. Couldn't do without with our awesome team that helps us out so much. And big shout out again to all of our camera operators that are working with us today. They're doing an awesome job.
Yes, and they're pointing out, I'm laughing, sorry, I'm having a moment here. I ended up on a ramble and I forgot to move my own camera, and I got an angry face from Marvel. It's just proving how important it is that we've got these trackside cameras, because I'm either filming or I'm talking.
It's very difficult to do both at once. We've got a lot of experience with that, but yeah. Thanks for everyone with your patience.
It's so funny. Marble is looking at me and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to film.
We've got Splen coming across the line. He'll be on lap 9 now. We're getting very close to the end here for a perfect race day for Splen. Still looking incredibly smooth, looking like he's right in that flow.
Look at him, right through the gap. Even like he's got that pace advantage right now, and he still's run the tight lines.
Yeah, and like he mentioned in that when we interviewed him for just a second before, right? The same thing we had mentioned before. If you slow down too much, get out of your pace, it can cause you issues and cause you to make a mistake. So he's probably got that sweet spot that's maybe 90 to 95% of his fastest pace, right? And that's where he can feel comfortable and feel like he's coming into all these obstacles similarly to what he's used to, so nothing throws him off and he doesn't make a big mistake and collide with something or, go off track.
I wanted to say, I like that there are some smoke trails behind the engines here. I'd still like to see more somehow, because it like helps to kind of sell the sense of, the speed that these guys are going.
Same, yeah. We talk about this all the time. Like, it's amazing that Star Citizen has such realistic ships and all these fast racing ships are so small, but at the same time, it makes them a little bit tricky to track, so we obviously do our best with what we have to work with. Oh, Splen with a little mistake there.
Ooh.
He did clean it up really quickly, but he did have a little hitch there after a drifter's hideout. Had to do a little bit of a roll to catch back up, so I think he utilized a whole bunch of boost because he thought he was going to collide with a rock. Good to see him recover. Hopefully that doesn't throw him off for this last portion of the race.
I want to give a quick shout out to Video Ninja. That's Video Ninja. It's a free tool we use to stream all these cameras across networks. It's really awesome. It's free to use for anybody, and it's also a big part of how we make this possible. Appreciate
and
what they're doing.
It looks like we missed at some point Shaqnu actually making his way around Strazik, so he's in second right now. And here comes Splen, his final lap. This is going to be his final time across the finish line today. Huge congratulations to Splen, going 1-1-1 on the day for first overall at the first Division Pro race here at Yadar Valley.
Wonderful, spectacular job by him. Really impressed, and I knew he had it in him, dude. I knew it.
Same.
Even though I was rooting for Shaqnu. I should have known better.
There comes Shaqnu across in second. We'll have to, of course, confirm this, but I'm fairly positive he's going to come home with second overall on the day. And there comes Strazik across the line in third. And we were waiting on our last racer on. Looks like we lost Flip-a-Dip somewhere along the ways. Here comes Sater across the line in fourth place. Great job, racers.
Wow. That was some amazing racing. Let's pull up the race results, go straight to Splen and have a chat. Congratulations, Splen. You have won, not one, not two, but 3 mains, and really gave everyone a run for their money. Congratulations on winning the very first Division Pro race today at Yadar.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be a part of XGR history. I mean, I couldn't be more proud to be here. You guys have done so much for the racing scene in Star Citizen, and literally none of this quality entertainment would have happened without you guys. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to show off today.
Appreciate
thank you, man. And show off you did, for sure. Going 1-1-1 with just incredible flow. I saw one maybe mistake there on that final race on that second to last lap or the last lap. But other than that, man, that looked like smooth sailing. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Anything that happened today that is worth calling out in terms of race pace? Any surprises? Anything that happened with your opponents or getting close? Because you did run really close a few times. Anything that stood out you'd want to mention?
Yeah, lap 2 was absolute insanity between myself and Shaq. We were constantly switching positions. It was harrowing, back and forth for the first and the second lap. So, that to me stood out obviously the most. I do have the onboard cam for that, and I'll be excited to share it with you guys for the highlights. Of course, Shaqnu and Flip-a-Dip coming up, taking second place in the second heat. I did not expect that. He's brand new to the pro scene, absolute legend. Happy to see more people getting involved in the racing scene.
Hell yeah, it is growing amazingly.
Definitely.
And I want to highlight what you do as well, Splen, because obviously you're streaming very regularly, primarily racing, I think I want to say is fair. And
100%, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. So maybe give everyone, point everyone in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to follow me, it's just twitch.tv/SplenShepherd, and I'll have, spare no pixel in the chat, direct you guys if you have any questions. And, regulars of the show would know that I put in the time here. I put in what I got out today, and that really makes all the difference. We spent a lot of time here. My supporters pushed me, kept me going. So this one's for Team Splen, guys. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be representing everyone who keeps me going. So thank you very much.
Can we walk it back to your very first Atmo race at New Babbage? Like, what a journey, though, right?
Oh yeah, here comes old school 0G racer Splen stepping in with the XGR guys for the first time. Oh God, what was it? November of 2021 for the New Babbage City Tour inaugural, I believe. Is that correct? Do I have the date right on that?
Oh, dude, I don't know. Oh, I have no idea.
It was forever ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so I get in there and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are flying like airplanes and they're kicking, excuse my French, they're kicking my butt. But that taught me a lot. It's like, oh my God, there's a new racing scene in town. Like there's actual potential for atmospheric racing. And from then on, I'm just like, well, I got to show them the ropes here being the old guy. So from then on, I was hooked. I got on scr.gg. I started putting down records on all your tracks. I tried getting the community as involved as I could. And soon before you know it, we had CIG, bringing racing back to the forefront of Star Citizen development. We get our racetracks. You get canonized in the game. It has been the wildest 2 years of my entire life.
Canonized.
Hell yeah.
That's great. So again, URL twitch.tv/Splen?
/Splen Shepherd, SHEPARD.
Easy clap. Congratulations on winning
I'll type in the chat as well.
Hell yeah, dude. Congratulations on winning the Antares Scorpius. Cool ship.
I'm very excited to get into that. It's a pocket. It's thrilling. Like it might be a boring job for the co-pilot, but it's an incredibly effective fighter. Happy to add it to my arsenal. Happy to show it off on the stream. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And we're still waiting for the final results to be calculated. Do we know our second place winner? I believe it's Shaq right?
Yes. Yep. So we're having some issues with our overlay, of course.
No
together
joke.
with something that we're working on completely replacing. The big change here is there's a tie for third place between Flippidip and Satyr. And Satyr will actually get that tiebreaker based upon the fact that he finished better than Flippidip in the third main event. So ignore the fact that those are reversed. We've got Splen winning this, Shaq in second, Satyr in third place. So awesome podium finish for Satyr, Flippidip in fourth, and Strazik in fifth.
Shaq, welcome back to Star Citizen Racing. You took a small break. How does it feel to be back and come in second place?
Oh, it feels amazing, man. I'm just happy I survived 30 laps on what is arguably the hardest track in the verse.
Yeah, give us your feelings on the track and racing the M50 around here. 3 times 10 laps.
Yeah. Yadar thin atmosphere, so it feels a lot like 0G, more so on the 0G spectrum compared to the heavy atmo spectrum. And something like the M50, I mean, this thing is a really nimble, fast ship, so you really got to stay on your toes and take advantage of the main thrusters. And it's got a little bit of aerodynamic profile too, so you can take advantage of that with pitching up and down. Me personally, I like to use the dolphin maneuver through the chicane after heaven and rock bottom, and I take advantage of that aerodynamic profile. But you gotta be really careful with the pitch down, because if you pitch down too much, it manipulates the TVI like crazy. And actually, because I do that, the dolphin maneuver as opposed to the rolling through it, I actually have too much speed going through that chicane, so I have to use my retros to slow myself down and use a lot of boost for that 180-degree turn. So it's pretty crazy. I absolutely love this track. I love the ship, and I hope to see more races here in the future with a bigger crowd.
As always.
Quick clarification really quick on something that you said. You said the hardest track in Star Citizen. Is that the hardest track in Star Citizen with the M50 or the hardest track in general? Just curious your opinion there for Yadar.
I'd say it's one of the hardest tracks in general. There's another track that comes to mind. It's a 0G track called Ambitious Dream Course. I'd say that's another one. We haven't had a big race there, but that is probably another crazy hard track. It's got more open space though, so a lot less risky to bump into other people. Whereas in this track, there's that really high chance of running into other racers. So definitely got to be careful here.
Well, you're missing out on a prize today, but I look forward to seeing your performance in the next Division Pro race. I'm convinced you'll make it there, of course, with what you're putting out. And looking forward to our Extreme G race instructor crawl back to the top.
Yeah, the real prize is the friends we make along the way and always getting better and better. So
Is it though? Shaqnu, is it though?
If you spoke to me a year ago, I'd say, hell no, man. I want to get first place all day, every day. But, I don't know. Maybe I kind of mellowed out as far as mentality with, I guess I'm not as bloodthirsty as I used to be. So
For those that don't know, we're talking to the 2953 Truck Division Atmo Esports Daymar Rally champion with team.
Yeah.
So we are talking to
race. That race I was absolutely bloodthirsty about. I definitely wanted to win that one. So I went all out for that.
What I'm hearing from this is that Shaq News washing up like an Osasha's or a Black Maze. That's what I'm hearing.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
A little bit.
And really quick, if we could get Marble to kick the layout over to the overall results instead of the Olympic scoring, I think that may be where we're getting the ordering. But
Yep. So Marble, we'll put the new scores on. Not yet. Looks like. In the meantime, Shaq News, thank you. Let's go and chat with Sater if he's still with us. We are gonna check in. Is it Flip in third? No, right? It's Sater.
it is Sater in third.
Yeah.
Just to confirm.
So if you're still with us, Sater,
Marble, you can kick back as well.
Just pulling
Sorry
you
about
in
that.
here to say congratulations on third place. It feels really good to me to see you chase these guys and make it on the podium. Congratulations. Yadar is one hell of a track, and I hope you enjoyed it.
I definitely did. On that last race, I don't know. I think I got smoked at Heaven. I got launched. I really was feeling good because I think I had a chance there, but it is what it is. I didn't die, so consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah.
You'll be joining us for the next one.
I don't see why not. This is what I'm doing. This is what I do.
Hell yeah, dude. Glad to have you.
Awesome
And
stuff.
look forward to
yeah.
it.
Yep, like we mentioned in the broadcast, stoked that you're on new hardware, can race again with us. Always excited to have you around. You're obviously a very, very talented competitor, so it's great to have you racing with these guys.
Man, it is so good to have nicer hardware. It makes it all about skill. I got no excuses anymore, so I just gotta get good, right?
Hell yeah,
there you
dude.
go.
We got the racers on the podium at Heaven.
Races
Awesome.
on the podium at Heaven. We can deliver. In the meantime, as we're setting up that for you, I think that we should talk a little bit about the future. We can do that without switching screens just yet. We're just gonna look for Heaven. Where is Heaven? Here's Heaven. Forgive us here. We're improvising. We're so good at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Can we turn them around?
Awesome.
I can't, can we turn the podium around? That's great. Oh, that's great. All right. Well, as we have all the racers lining up here, I think what we need to do is show our future race dates and have a little look at what we've got planned for the very near future. We, of course, talk about wanting to do these division races very often, and we are going to step up our game now that we've got a pretty stable Star Citizen experience. First, we're going to be exhibition racing on the 27th of May. Remind us, Osashas, what is exhibition racing?
Yeah, so exhibition racing lies in between. We have different styles of racing. We've got, of course, the Stanton Cup. We've got division racing. Exhibition racing is kind of a one-off, so where we do some crazy formats, different ships that we might not typically be racing in. It's basically a free-for-all for our creativity to try different things still racing related.
Well said. And yeah, we're bringing out the Fury because why not? Mirai.
Oh,
what a beautiful,
yeah.
cool little ship. Stay tuned for that. It's not going to be broadcasted, but you should come join with us. We will be filming. We'll be making highlight videos. And speaking about highlight videos, you should definitely subscribe to our Extreme G Racing YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, type in XGR, and do that so you can stay up to date. Following the exhibition rate, we're going back to division racing. We're going Pro, all in a row. There's no breaks. And we're going to the Icebreaker. Can you believe it? We have never raced there officially and competitively. The Icebreaker, originally designed by Steve CC, later on adapted a little bit with the community together, and then canonized by CIG. It is there now with an outpost of its own on the moon of Euterpe, and we're going to be racing the 300 series because that ship needs love. We love that ship. It's big, it looks exciting, it's fast on a main, and Icebreaker has many.
Yep. Very excited to go to the Icebreaker and get it, basically break it out in its first legit big racing series. And yeah, it's going to get a whole lot of racing done in it, starting at the AMs, going through the Pro-Ams into the Pro. And it's going to be really fun to see how fast these guys are going to be able to push what is arguably not the most competitive racing ship right now, but push it to its absolute limits and see how it can handle the Icebreaker.
As we are looking at Star Citizen improving its performance over time, we had, of course, paused the Stanton Cup because of a lot of sort of freezing hitches, and those seem to be improving over time. So it is long overdue that we return with the Stanton Cup coming after that Division Pro race. The date is yet to be announced, but I say to our washed up Stanton Cup racers, get your gear back on and get ready to race. And for newcomers, I want to add that race, that cup is available to everybody. Division racing is entirely separate, so anybody is welcome to race in our Stanton Cup. So come join us and stand a chance at winning some awesome prizes. We've got ship pledge prizes for first place, second place, third place, audience prizes. It's really awesome. Really invite you to come look at that as well. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, just to clarify really quick too, for anybody in chat that's new to racing, the division racing is open for you to dive into. All you've got to do is go to racexgr.com, click on the Discover Racing button, and click the button to sign up for a student license. You got that student license, you can come to the division AM racing, get your feet wet, learn the ropes, and start trying to get your AM license and your pro license and work your way up the ladder.
Finally, I just want to say this broadcast has been amazing. I think with the audience, I want to thank you for watching. I was looking at your chat and your hype, and really appreciate it. This is why I do it, because I want to bring racing to the audience. I want everyone to see it. I want to make it look exciting. And I think with our team, we're really making that happen. So I want to thank yourself, Osashas. I want to thank Luigi509 as our race director, Steve CC stepping up and joining, Shaq New as race instructor, and then we've got Marble Maze, of course, as our button presser. Really on top of her game as well this stream, switching between the cameras and making it so that we can all be hands-free practically and focus on the commentating. Then we've got Turrican as formation flying pro and camera guy. We've got iMonster, Kaylee Star, and Mad Cat. Really appreciate you all very much, and just very proud to be where we are all together.
100% agreed. Thank you so much to our spectators and viewers. Thank you so much to our extremely talented racers that put on this awesome show for people, and thank you so much to our team that helps make this possible.
With that, stay tuned for more coming very soon.
Yep. Catch you guys soon.